Hi, this is Dr. Picheny today, and I want to talk about Dr. Alan Francis, Chairman of the Department of Psychiatry at Duke University. He's an honorable man as far as I know. This gentleman trained at Columbia University, then went to Cornell University Medical College, where I went, and he became the chairman of the Department of Psychiatry at Duke. And he worked on what we call the DSM-4, and he seems to be a very honorable, decent man. And he was on television, and he said that Trump is not crazy. I agree with that. But the people who voted for him are crazy. I don't agree with that. And then he made a statement that absolutely floored me and hundreds of my own intelligence operatives around the world who sent me this video. And he said the following. Dr. Francis said that Trump killed more than Mao Zedong, Stalin, and Hitler combined, killed more millions of people than all three combined. I was taken aghast. I had said to myself, where does this number come from that this honorable, decent psychiatrist and supposedly intelligent man came up with? Well, I decided to look up a little bit about how many millions were killed by Hitler. Well, let's assume he killed 6 million Jews, and we give him another 4 million because he killed homosexuals, he killed gypsies, he killed Christians, Lutherans. So that makes, let's say, about 10 million. Then we talk about Stalin, who was way ahead of Hitler. In 1933, Stalin had already killed over 3 million Ukrainians. By the time of 1936, he had killed another 3 million Ukrainians and Slavs. And Stalin was not very particular because in the Battle of Stalingrad, he lost another 3 million. But by the end of World War II, we estimated, and even Stalin bragged, that there was over 30 million people killed directly under his supervision. So we have millions under Hitler, 30 million under Stalin, and then we go to Mao Zedong. Now, Mao Zedong tried to convert an agricultural society to an industrial society. To do that, he did exactly what Stalin did. He killed millions of Chinese. Then he decided in his own wisdom that he's going to create a cultural revolution in which everybody's going to go back to kind of zero state, or a state where you basically have to be re-educated and become a communist. That took about 5 to 10 million. Let's say Mao, along with all of his other killings, it's 20 million. So what we're talking about between Mao, Stalin, and Hitler, we're easily talking about 50 to 100 million people who were killed in combination. Now, where Dr. Francis got his numbers concerning this number, I have no idea. But I will say the following. Number one, it shows an incredible amount of ignorance on the part of Dr. Francis. Number two, it shows that he's not very bright when he makes a statement like that. Number three, without going into his psychodynamics, let me just suggest to you, Dr. Francis, that you might have a touch of sociopathy where you come on the air and you make up statements that you cannot back. So that's sociopathic. Number two, it turns out you're a pathological liar because there is no truth to that statement, and clearly you made other statements which had no validity to it. Number three, let's assume that this good man, you are as a good man, is narcissistic enough to go on the air, make fallacious statements, and then says there's something wrong with Trump. Well, what's wrong with you, Dr. Francis? And what's wrong with 37 other psychiatrists, including Dr. Lee of Yale University, who published a book saying that Donald Trump is mentally ill? Are you kidding? I'm probably the only psychiatrist in the United States or in the world who has worked with Nixon, Ford, Reagan, Bush, Carter, and more presidents than any other psychiatrist. And I cannot claim that any president who I've worked with or any president that I know about was crazy or killed millions of people. Let me quote Bonaparte when he said, "Stupidity and genius are very similar, but there's a limit to genius." On that note, thank you very much and good night.